We're getting word now of even more power outages. We have live pictures here coming in from Hong Kong. This car right here, it's riddled with bullet holes on the passenger side.
And this is the job he ended up with. Caulk that is about an inch wide, a poor paint job, and windows that don't fit their openings.
So here's the thing, if your kids play sports, you need to look out for symptoms, especially if they've had more than one head injury. I mean, let's be honest, teenagers, they're not going to be the first one to raise their hand and say, okay, I'm hurt and I'm coming off the field. They can be a little stubborn at times. I was one of them.
But I think what really has hit me most are the cards and the signs that preschools have made that children are sending.
It shows this professor calling police and the officers removing a student from the classroom.
John says his problem is that those trucks leave behind a massive mess, not just gravel, but mud and dirt. Even days after those weekend get-togethers, you can still see the tire tracks littered here in the parking lot.
Now, Frank, take a look this morning. Two Indianapolis homeowners have quite the mess on their hands. These storms caused large trees to topple not just over, but onto their homes. So this first incident we're going to show you happened about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. This was on Delray Drive. 3 people, several pets were inside that home when the tree fell and caused the home to collapse. Everyone made it out okay, but minutes later, another tree landed on top of a home. This was near Lawrence Street and Fernway Street. Crews estimated the damage there to be up to $60,000. Doesn't appear anyone was hurt at that home either. An Indiana man is in jail accused of threatening to, quote, massacre people in Cambridge City. Police arrested this 19-year-old Jacob Gaddis after he reportedly posted the threat on social media. Investigators tracked down Gaddis about an hour afterward. They charged him with felony intimidation. 5:07 your time now this morning. A mother in Indianapolis has a clear message for drivers on her road. She's saying slow down.
Now that school started, we were standing there today waiting to put the kids on the bus, and the cars are flying by so fast that I'm scared to even let my kids on the bus stop.
I feel like we hear stories about this every year. Yesterday was the first day of school, as you just heard, for her 5 children. Right now, that mother has hand-painted signs on Terrace Avenue. This is all on the east side, and she's reminding drivers that, again, there are kids in that area. She says her biggest fear is someone hitting a child while they're getting on and off the bus. IMPD says if you deal with fast drivers near school bus stops, make sure to file a complaint with the city through their website. We'll connect you on CBS4Indy.com. Some Hoosier kids are back in school already. New this morning, we are learning more about 2 brand new schools in Washington Township. Samantha Myers is live from Clearwood Elementary School. Samantha, these are the newest school buildings in Marion County.
So we were telling you about the Pink Lady Bandit, wanted in connection with a string of bank robberies in 3 states.
Well, it appears she's traded in that pink persona for an orange jumpsuit. We're going to tell you about the second person now arrested in connection to those robberies.
Say it's loud and obnoxious. 200 to 300 cars, motorcycles, and dirt bikes rallying at the Shoppers World and drag racing down US 31 in Indy.
They'll rev their engines all night.
Our windows rattle every Friday and Saturday night.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying and endless. Homeowners say the parties start around 10 o'clock at night and last hours into the early morning.
It doesn't stop.
Even days after those weekend get-togethers, you can still see the tire tracks littered here in the parking lot. Concerned, frustrated, and overwhelmingly tired, these residents have repeatedly called the Mayor's Action Center, IMPD, even 911.
The police will run them out, then they'll turn around and come back.
It's gotten so loud, so smoky from all the burnouts that some are now turning to a last resort, leaving their own homes every weekend just to get some peace and quiet.
I am sorry that that has to happen. Nobody wants to live under those conditions.
IMPD says they are aware of the issues. It's something they're trying to put the brakes on.
We've put a lot of time and effort into doing extra patrols down there, doing enforcement. It's a manpower drain.
IMPD now honing in on a specific tact plan they're calling Operation Red Flag. Because the parties are happening on private property, officers signed an agreement with the plaza owner. They can now cite people for trespassing.
We also have some motorcycle groups that might be willing to work with us to try to, biker to biker.
Those veteran bikers planning to educate the younger crowd about how dangerous their drag racing wheelies and stunts can be.
I don't know if you remember this, but there was that deadly accident in that area back in 2015, and there was just another one this summer, just a couple months ago. Witnesses said they saw those two bikers doing wheelies, then that crash, and then they say they saw those motorcycles burst into flames. And I've seen the photos, pretty serious stuff. 2 people died in that crash. 1 was critically injured.
And it just seems so strange to doing this in a public place. You'd think they'd be afraid of that, but there's some gray area here. Did these people in this crowd commit a crime?
So it's a good point that you bring up. IMPD says 99% of that crowd does not cause any problems, that they haven't seen things like underage drinking, they haven't seen drugs or violence unfold, but they do have to protect the public. And so when you're talking about cars and motorcycles speeding down US 31, a very crowded, very traffic-based road, yeah, that becomes a danger and it becomes an issue. Indianapolis, by the way, also has a noise ordinance that this crowd is reportedly violating. So the best I can tell you, it's on IMPD's radar. They swear they're going to address it, but they say it is going to take some time.
Yeah, this is how we carve it out too. We keep it carved out.
This is Indiana's very own ice tree.
It's an anchor to my winter time.
It started in 1961 when Janet here was just a kid.
My mom grew up with 4 brothers, and they wanted to go sledding one winter. And so my grandpa was like, well, we don't have snow, I'll just make an ice hill. And one night the wind blew the water coming out from the hose onto a honeysuckle bush. And in the morning, he was like, oh wow, this is really cool. It's just a big ice bush. Let's keep building on top of this.
57 years later, the family continues their well-known winter tradition, making the base out of 2x4s and then adding more and more tree limbs every single day.
We'll do it in a strategic way so that we can create like a trail that goes up the ice. The color, my mom does all the color, and she takes powdered food coloring and she puts it in a container, and then the container connects to a hose. Red, blue, green, purple. The year that the Colts were here playing for the Super Bowl, we did it all blue.
This year, the tree is bigger and better than ever, especially since it's been such a cold season so far. People coming from other states and countries to check it out and take photos, but only a select few getting to climb it.
Here's a hatchet for you just in case.
Thank you.
Make it easier to climb.
Things no one has ever said to me. Here's a hatchet, just in case.
And then this is sturdy, so you can grab onto it.
So I've definitely decided that this is pretty much as high as I'm gonna go. This thing goes 42 feet, and this is only in a matter of a month.
The Veal family turning a wintertime hobby into an art that you and your family can not only enjoy for years to come, but a free attraction that you can learn from.
There's our message of finding good things out of what might be hard times. Winters are difficult. Driving, staying warm, paying the electric bill or the heat gas bill. It is difficult, but good things can come out of it.
Out of Florida, passengers on a Delta airline flight recorded the thick layer of fog that was inside their cabin. Passengers say there wasn't any kind of odor, but the flight crew also didn't really explain what was going on. That fog lasted for about 30 minutes. They sat there on the tarmac. Oh my goodness. Delta said the incident was related to humidity and that it was not required to report it to the Federal Aviation Administration. I'd be like, goodbye. I'm gonna go ahead and delay my trip. Some kids made a super cool discovery during their family reunion in Ohio last month. I can't even imagine this. Those kids were playing in a creek near the Inn Honey Run when one of them found a fossil, a real fossil of a mastodon tooth. So the mastodon, if you don't know, it's a distant relative of the elephant. The owner of the inn sent pictures to experts from Ohio colleges, and they confirmed it. This fossil is at least 10,000 years old. Incredible. Let's stay in Ohio. Visitors at the Akron Zoo, my hometown, were delighted by this very itchy grizzly bear. The zoo posted this video of the animal taking care of its bare necessities. Experts say behavior like this isn't necessarily uncommon for grizzlies. It allows them to mark their territory, share their scent, whatever the reasons, though. Zoo goers got quite the laugh from this itchy grizzly. A moose on the loose. This is in, of course, Alaska. It set off the motion detector on a manned security camera in Anchorage. Look at that thing. Wow, the moose went about his business peacefully, didn't disturb any people, any property. The homeowner named his visitor Bullwinkle. He said he'll take a moose over a prowler any day. I can't believe how big that thing is. In Alaska, though, I guess they see this every day. A backyard fence might seem like a good way to keep an unwanted visitor out, but apparently not alligators. This gator scaled a fence at the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville, Florida over the weekend. A woman was driving by when she caught the gator in action. It belly flopped on the grass, then went on its way. Officials plan to let it be unless it poses a danger to residents.
Wait a minute. So these are the same animals with the really short legs. We're not supposed to be so concerned about, oh, come on.
So, but right over the fence. That is all the concerns.
Let me
right
just
there.
remind you, we had the
messing me up.
5-foot gator in Chicago. We had one swimming in the middle of the road last week in Florida. An 11-foot gator that smashed through a window and got into someone's home.
So you're trying to freak us out more. Thank you.
Floridians, no, but
Success.
Floridians are not impressed at all. They're like, we see this all the time. Everybody
All
else
the
knows,
time.
like, run for your lives. Goodbye to my family.
Yeah.
All right, definitely spring-like. Before we go, let's take a live look. Chris Kindle Market is packed. Lots of sunshine out there. If you're looking for the holiday lights, this is a good place to go. Merry Christmas, you guys. Have a great